Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rig It with the Coach here at Big Bite Baits. So the first thing I got to announce today, Jordan, before I get started in our show is you just told me that the big B2 worm that we talked about last week in the new colors number 9 through 17 are available now on the website. They are for sale. We went ahead and put them in so all you summer fishermen can go ahead and be using them prior to ICAST. And that way, everybody would already be addicted to them by the time ICAST got here, and we'd be able to sell a lot of them. So anyway, if you're interested in what we talked about last week and all the colors, go to the website. They're there, and you can purchase them now. Okay. All right. Now, the other thing I want to talk about today before we get started on a little bit of a show we're going to do, and I believe Jordan's got a few questions for us, and we're going to kind of do a smorgasbord of things. Is 4th of July holidays coming up. Now, we won't be on the air next week because we're going to be off for the 4th of July. But we'll be back the next week. And then the next week, we're going to do several shows live from ICAST. We'll talk more about that at the next show before that show. But anyway, did want to mention that to everyone. So 4th of July is coming up. If you hadn't got your American flag shirt to be supportive of our country, we've got them available. We have plenty of them in stock. On the front, it has just the fish on the front. It's distressed. It's a soft cotton. I think I've talked about this on here before, but I just want to remind everyone who hadn't gotten their American flag shirt, it is available. Get your orders in while they last. We've got plenty on hand, so hopefully we'll be able to fill everyone's orders on them. I went ahead and ordered a few extra, that way we'd have them, Jordan. But anyway, that's a neat deal for the holiday especially. Okay, and you can do an American flag hat with it too. If I should have brought that and guess and showed that, we have actually 2 American flag hats. One that's solid black with the logo on, and then there's one that's a blue, a gray, and a white that's on there also. I think we have both of those available right now. So anyway, you can get it all decked out for the holiday. So questions, Jordan? You got a couple things early we can talk about, and then we'll move into our show.
Sure. This one is from Eli Ecker. He wants to know, what is Big Bite's best jig trailer in your opinion?
Well, I'll give you 2 you can try, and different people like different things. I mean, but I really like to use that Kamikaze Craw on the back of a jig. It really flaps well, has lots of action. And then personally, I like to use the Fighting Frog. But now if you ask some of our elite guys, Russ Lane will tell you Yo Daddy, and some other guys will probably tell you a Swimming Craw. So we've got a lot of diversity there that you can pick from. But my 2 favorites would be the 2 that I mentioned at the very beginning, the Kamikaze Craw and the Fighting Frog. Okay,
and actually that goes right into my next question.
Okay, good.
From Big Bass Outdoors, Florida. How do you like to rig a Kamikaze Craw on the back of a jig?
I just basically I don't pinch mine off. I like it bulky, so I just basically thread it. If I had one here, I just take the hook and run it through it and center it up and then put it up on the keeper good and tough and let it flap. So I don't do a whole lot to it. Now, if you want to compact it a little bit, you can clip it down, and make it a little shorter. I normally don't do that. And if you're using a Bitsy jig, we have the smaller version, the 3-inch model, that you can do the same thing with. So that's basically how I do it. I mean, a lot of people do it different ways.
Okay, is there a certain color or size that you use the most personally?
I usually use the 3.75 on pretty much everything I do. I don't fish a lot of finesse jigs. I like to try and match it to my jig.
Okay.
I've always talked about that. If you're doing a green pumpkin, maybe a green pumpkin jig or a bluegill looking color under it, something like that.
Okay, I'll save the last couple.
Okay, super. So today I'm just going to keep kind of in tune the next couple shows. And talk about some things that we've got going on here. Last week I talked about the new colors in the B2. So this week I'm going to talk about the 2 new colors we're going to offer in the top toad, being it's toad season. Be a good thing, So we basically have 2 new colors we're going to offer. One of them is called Dirty Snow. It's kind of a gray looking color, and it has a black and silver flake in it. It's kind of a neat looking color, and you can use it a lot of different ways, but that's the first color. It's called Dirty Snow. Thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, and then the other color I really like, I'm excited about because I use that Spro Frog in this color quite a bit, the Natural Red, and it's very similar, and it looks really good in that. So those are 2 new colors that you can use. Now, we already have 12 other colors of tour toads that we've talked about in the past. You get your blacks and your whites and your watermelon red ghost and your pearl shiner. There's a lot of different colors. And we also have talked quite a bit about the buzz bait. Our ST Buzz that you can do the toad on. It comes in a 1/4 and a 3/8 ounce version. And I've talked about how we can adjust it to make it click and make the noise. But you can take these new baits and pair them up just like you could any of our other tour toads, on this particular frame if you're interested in doing that, or you can pull it individually. But like this white one with the Dirty Snow, and it looks really good. Or you could go to the black one and run the natural red on it, and it looks really good. It kind of blends and sets up really well. So I brought those two frames today just to show how you could do it that way. And you know, you can use any of our toad colors on these frames. I mean, that's up to you. That's just two things I thought matched up pretty well. But these will be coming out shortly. Obviously, I've got them in my hand. We've got them manufactured. We're in the process of getting them bagged and getting them ready. And as soon as they're ready on the internet, we'll let you know. But just remember, Dirty Snow and Natural Red, two new colors in the Tour Toad series. Okay, Jordan, what else we got today while we're on it?
Sure, I have a question here live from CHS Fishing.
Okay, CH.
Coach, what's a good summertime lure for when the bass are not biting?
Most people tell you to downsize if the fish are sluggish. You know, one of the things that they do here, I'll use our area as an example. A lot of people will go to a drop shot and they'll downsize their bait to try to get baits. And I was talking about that the other day. Remember we talked about the limit maker? That would be a real good choice. Or like the 4.5 shaking squirrel, something that's got a smaller profile that you can get baits on using a drop shot type method. That seems to be a way that you can drum up some bites when they kind of get sluggish.
Okay, here's a good one from Eagle on a Tree. What is the best smallmouth baits in your opinion?
Well, you know, it depends on what area you're in. I'm real partial to that Smalley Smasher because I helped develop it. And I know that up around Lake Erie and that part of the smallmouth world, it'll really catch them. And some of the other guys have told me over on the other side of the Great Lakes that bait works really well on a drop shot. And I've also caught them on our limit maker, smallmouth. Both of those are really good up in that area, but I'd be partial to the Smalley Smasher. Two colors in that, by the way, Chick Magnet and the Silver Blue Smoke are really good.
Okay, awesome. Here's another live question from Jiggin for Biggins.
All right, Jiggin.
What is your go-to bait on a Texas rig?
I like a B2 worm, no doubt. That's this time of year. I like the big 10-inch worm. Slow down, you know, take your time, get some bites. That's kind of how I like to do that. I think that's a real good choice, depending on where you're located. But I know here in Alabama and some of the other places I've been able to fish, that's a real good option this time of year.
Okay, I have another one here from Hooligan Baits, wondering, what is your favorite swim jig trailer and your favorite chatterbait trailer?
Well, I like the swim on behind the chatterbait trailer. That's a new bait we developed, especially for the swim on. Up until that time, I had used a cane thumper on the back of my chatterbait, but since we went to that swim on, it really works well behind the chatterbait. It's a lot easier to pull and works really well. I like it a lot. I usually just try to match it. As far as the jig trailer, probably I like a kamikaze crawl a lot, and you know, the swimming crawl does a real good job, as well as the fighting frog. All three of them do a really good job. But this last summer, I really fished that kamikaze crawl quite a bit. I had been a fighting frog on the jig guy for years, and I seem to like it real well on the jig. So something to look at. It's got those big flappers, and it really gets busy. So that's why I like it.
Okay, I have a good one from.
Okay.
Let's see, Tyler Pope.
We can roll them today. That's good. Tyler, talk to me.
How do you target larger fish among smaller ones? Like, for example, if you're on a slot lake.
That's a really good question. I mean, you hear lots of different ways to do that, or people talking about different ways. Sometimes you just have to weed through them and try to get to the big ones. I kind of think, and I'm no pro by no means, so don't hold me. I always thought the big ones would bite first. If there were big ones in there, it seemed like to me I could get the bigger bites early, and the smaller they got, it was hard to ever get another big one to fire. So I always felt like you could get that bite earlier, and you could use a crankbait or whatever bait you're confident with. And then sometimes people will tell you that the bigger fish are up under the littler fish, and if that's the case, then you got to look at the target range of water that you're looking at and try to get up under those fish. But if they're laying on the bottom, that's not going to work for you. So I just kind of always live by the rule: if you don't pull up and get several quality bites pretty quick, then probably time to pull off and go to another spot.
Okay, gotcha. I know I'm firing a lot at you. I got one more and I'll let you go.
Oh, that's good, man. We enjoying it. Let's talk. How
about Big Rich Fishing wants to know, what do you like to use in very shallow, grassy water?
Oh, that you could use a lot of different things there now. A Senko, if I had to guess, a trick stick is what we call it. It's really hard to beat. I mean, I'm just telling you, that's a really good bait. But you can use a moving bait or a top type bait. I mean, that toad right there is deadly in shallow, grassy water. I like it a lot. A fighting frog is just ultra deadly. But but I think a trick stick probably gets the most bites in that type of situation. But we talk about this a lot. I'll throw a fighting frog first because it seems to catch a bigger fish. And that's kind of, I know that'd be controversial because a lot of people would say a trick stick would catch big fish too, and it will. But I like that fighting frog. So, but what you're really looking at, you're comparing a craw looking type bait to like a stick type bait. So, they might want something that's a little more subtle, or they might want something that's busy. So you kind of look at it from that angle too.
All right, that's it.
All right, super, man. I thought we had a pretty good show today. We'll wind it up, and we'll see you on week after next for the ICAST preview show. And then, obviously, the next week we'll be live at ICAST every day. I think me and Jordan will probably go online a couple times a day maybe, or at least once a day, and talk to you about what's going on at ICAST. Till then, we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you.